She's one of the biggest global star, a South African superstar, Tyler. But for me, she's never convinced me like one of the biggest. She just evaporated just like one time. And now she's a failure. She is a failure, and this is why you're gonna have to know that she's a failure.
So Tyler sold less than 4,000 copies of her EP. Tyler is a big artist in Africa, South African artists, and she was making inroads in the US market. And her latest release did very badly. And listen, less than 4,000 copies is really bad, I mean, however way you look at it. And a lot of people are saying that the reason why it's performed so badly in the US is because of the position she took in terms of her blackness. Like, obviously her main.
So Tyler is a South African. We've had this debate for long enough, and the majority of people in South Africa, especially the people that call themselves colored, I mean, one thing that the oppressors manage to make great is to divide people and conquer. Like one of the biggest shock when I came to South Africa as an African, like some decade ago, I was really shocked to see that before you go applying for a job, there is this criteria of categorizing people by their race. As for me, as an African, coming from Africa in Africa and go to South Africa, when you're applying for a job, they ask you for for you to tick your color, and I was like, tick my color, the skin, the race of me. And I was like, this is insane. But some people have the way to defend it because of the purposes, employment rates, and stuff like that. But for me, it's still funny and joke enough, right? So Tyler, she did not have a media training. She did not prepare for that moment. As they always say, preparation is the mother of execution, right? You might be blowing up, but if you are not prepared, you just gonna be blown off, just like the people that win the lottery and then they have no plans of how to sustain their money, and then boom, it's like I blew it, right? Now, listen carefully why she's a failure now.
main fan base are black people. And she said that she's not black, she's colored. That was the position. And that in South Africa, she's colored, she's not black. And people had a big issue with that, and especially the way it was handled and the way the conversation was handled, because it was felt as if she was trying to distance herself from black people. Now, a lot of South Africans came to her defense and said, listen, we don't see things the same way that you see things in America. So why should she change her mentality and her delineation just because she's over there? We have colored over here. You guys don't. That's your history. That's not our history. And I think what is crazy about this entire conversation, when I see people defending her and defending this whole scenario, is the omission of a conversation of the origin of colored in the first place. Colored is rooted in white.
So it's funny enough. I came from a place where I see mixed race people, like, you know, but when you give yourself the identity of a certain thing, it means that's how you embrace the identity. And there is no justification of you trying to force someone to become something or someone that they don't want to be, right? The majority of mixed races all over the world, they have their identity. They identifying themselves as who they wish to identify themselves. But you cannot really deny the reality and just to please your hearts. It's like a people that trying to change their date of birth, the year of birth, or trying to change some other things. I'm not gonna talk to other things like genders and stuff like that. You are pleased to do so, but you cannot really change that reality. So in South Africa, there is a lot of thing about race, and I've always telling people to get more education, more knowledge in that sector, because many people they trying to ignore, or they trying to believe that what has been presented to them, and that's it. And this thing is kind of big for a person who's the image, like music artists, like things like that. And this cost this lady a lot, a lot. Just listen carefully, and I'm gonna play another video.
supremacy. It was a term and a concept created by white South Africans during apartheid. Okay. In the 1950s, there was a Registration Act of 1950, which forced all South Africans into four racial groups: white, Asian, colored, and black African. Okay. Which is the majority of South Africans. And when they delineated that, it had a hierarchy so that white was at the top, who had all the rights, all the power, all the resources. Then colored would come beneath them, and then the Indians and the Asians, and black were firmly at the bottom of the totem pole.
This is actually so bad for Tyler, because the PR it's no longer there. You didn't know the history. You are a musician, but you are not creative. Like, you don't have the knowledge. I mean, I love musicians when I hear the lyrics, because I love the lyrics, especially the people that wrote the lyrics. Not just a musician to sing. You need to know at least a little bit of something. And this hierarchy that the guy is talking about, like what's happened with apartheid and stuff like that, it was super bad. Mahatma Gandhi was advocating for Indians. He used to insult the black people because all Africans they are deity and stuff like that. They cannot live as Africans. But in the meantime, he was um begging white colonials to integrate the Indian societies in South Africa. I mean, things like that. And Tyla came to be one of those descendants of the Indians, uh, South Africans. All right. And she has like a Zulu background and stuff like that. So automatically for her, she becomes colored. But in the true origin, she's not even like, is she even colored? Guys, let me know in the comment below. Is she even a colored? For me, I would say she's Indian, right? And then the people in South Africa. If you're Indian, people don't like to be called Indians. Like, I don't understand. Like, why don't you want to be called Indian? I've seen people from Cape Malay, Malaysians, and we have plenty of them people in South Africa, but they just coming and integrating in a colored society, and they're becoming like colored. But when you check your DNA, 60% of your DNA came from South Asia. Like, I don't understand. Southeast Asia, you have like almost 2% of Bantu, 2% of Khoi, and stuff like that. But you be, I don't know what you guys saying, but this topic is kind of deep, and people never wanted to understand this, and they don't want to really, really understand this. And this is costing Tala a lot of things, right? So she denied her blackness, and that had to cost her a lot, like a lot in America, because we thought that the second album is gonna pick up, but it's actually a flop for a biggest artist like Tyler, right? So let me read this for La Dallas. Moral of the story: learn the social cultural history of the society you are trying to be accepted by. Respect that information and try to integrate. In South Africa, you may be colored, but you are not trying to break into South African market. In Nigeria, I'm not black, because that is not a distinction. Distinction in Nigeria is based on tribe, but here in America, I'm black. I embrace it. We all need to educate ourselves about the places we are trying to get to. You can't reinvent the wheel. You just need to get uh, with a program. In America, I'm black. I have a community, and I'm proud of it. Um, I don't know. This lady is kind of also like confused. Black. It's actually genes. And it's not just about culture. It's about DNAs and stuff like that. So it cost Tyla a lot of things. And the baddest thing is she went to this the breakfast club and tell people to not asking some certain question, which is that was like, how would you go to do uh to a breakfast club but you don't want to be asked questions? Listen to this.
Charlemagne says Tyler's team gave him six don't ask topics. He pressed anyway, and you won't expect what happened next.
They had six things they didn't want us to ask. You want to know what those six things were? They didn't want us to ask about Kai Sinat. Did you see Kevin Hart give Kai Sinat a framed picture?
That's
We
a quote
friends
by
though.
you,
We
but
friends
we're friends
though.
though.
Don't put me on the spot, guys. I will leave.
I mean, I don't understand. You are a superstar. This is your prime time. You People are expect to know, to get more from you. You are not from the country that you are breaking into. You are South African breaking in America. Like, that's like a global market, right? Everybody want that as a musician. You want that for not just because it's America, but that's where the biggest corporations, the biggest INC, the biggest media, like the biggest industry, I mean, lies, right? And you go there and you're telling people that I don't want you to asking me about this. If you didn't want people to asking you about this, why don't you just stay in your country and don't want to be global? You can just stay. I mean, you can be national, you can be local. It's okay. But when you're trying to be global, people will always attacking you with questions. People will always attacking you with they want to know more. I mean, it's always like that. Everybody's like, we've seen that from soccer players, musicians, athletes. I mean, movie actors and all that. Now, Tyler is going there and she's telling people, don't ask me about my roots, don't ask me about my race. Like, guys, please, I want to start a conversation and I want you to let me know in the comment because some colored of Cape Town or in South Africa, they are supporting her that she shouldn't be revealing who she is. And I'm like, why are you feeling ashamed of revealing your heritage? Like, why? That's my question. Can you answer me that question, guys? Please share this with your friends, and I want people to answer that question. Why do people feel so shy to share their heritage? Why? You are not like originally South Africans. You are not. You came from somewhere, right? Your parents, your ancestors, they came from. Why don't you just say like, yeah, it's like that? Why? Like, I don't understand this. Why?
Embarrassed. I'm sorry.
The whole we friends though thing.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't want us to ask about her not being on tour with Chris Brown anymore. They didn't want us to ask about the color thing. School me on these debates that they be having about your identity as a South African.
Next one, please.
They didn't want us to ask about her injury that she sustained.
Next question, please. She doesn't even want to, like, man, like, they were very, very bad. Like, this kind of mindset of intoxication that intoxicated people from South Africa, that a person who's born in South Africa is automatically South African. Okay, it's okay. That could be like that. But you know why they did that? Is because of they wanted to benefit the oppressors. All those people that came from Europe, people that came from whatever, because they came before that. And then in 1994, after that, I think they changed because they understood that no, this is to benefit some certain people and to not benefiting some certain people, right? But some people have them two ways of defining the origin of someone. The biggest origin definition, it's the roots, your great parents, your great great parents, your grandparents, right? That's your origin, that's your roots. Now, people, when they're asking you, like, what is your origin? What is your roots? People be like, oh, where I was born. No, where you were born doesn't define your roots. Where you were born just define like where that's where your life started. but that's not your roots. Roots is like before you were born, right? And people don't like to reveal that thing. Like if you're asking people where you from, they were just gonna give you like where they were born or where they live in. Is that where are you from means everything, like your roots, your parents, your grandparents, and everybody. Like, and my friend, if you want to start fight with people, just go in South Africa. I started asking people, like especially white people and people of color, asking them, where are you from? Where are you originally from? It's the biggest fight. All right, it's the biggest fight.
What was the injury? They said you hurt yourself.
Yeah, I hurt myself.
What happened?
Hey, why you wanna know what happened?
Come on, yo. So I said to them, no. When I say no, I'm not going to oblige any of this. It is your job then, label, management, whoever, to either prepare the artist for the questions or pull the interview.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm fine with either or.
You think he should have respected the list or asked the real questions? Charlemagne.
So basically, Tyla album is shrinking, and she only sold like right now. Let me double check in on Google. How many how many how many copy Tyla, the South African musician, has sold so far for a new album? This is I'm sharing with you. Tyla's recent mixtape, the WWP EP, has sold approximately 3,700 units in the United States during its first week. That was in August 2025. And according to Illuminate, in contrast, Tyler's full-length debut album had sold over 24,000 album equivalent units in its first week, and that was like the debut album, placing it at under 24 on the Billboard. So, understanding the numbers, EPV's album, it's important to differentiate between the new mixtape and her debut album. The lower numbers are for. So, actually, the EP doesn't make even to 4,000, bro. Like this is ridiculous. It's really really ridiculous for somebody who just brought up the heat last year. Anyway, she's never convinced me. Like I'm never listening to it. I never play her song, but people were going crazy. And that's it, guys. Your artist is failing because of failure of not knowing. So if you are doing something there, do not just limiting to your country's background, trying to learn things about the outside. Because when you want to go global, then prepare for that moment to go global. Otherwise, you are going to fail and just stay at the level that you prepared to stay, right? That's it for tonight, guys. Please, if you're watching this, hit the button, subscribe, activate that bell notification, and I will see you in the next video. And let me know in a comment, what do you thinking about Tyla's failure on the new album? Tell me in a comment below. I love you guys. Take care.